Hey guys, we are going to test out the car recording. I am currently in the parking lot of Sally's recording in my car because I found my very first gray hair this morning and I'm unwell. So I'm going to fix that problem for sure. But for now, I wanted to talk about something that Travis and I actually were talking about this morning at breakfast. We went out to breakfast. We have a sweet little spot here in Hickory that we love. I think we've gone there so much now that I think all of the servers know who we are, which is nice, but also, gosh, we should stop going out to breakfast. What we were talking about is how I'm sure you've heard that there's two sides to every story, right? You've got, depending on who you talk to, the version might be different, and it all comes from perspective. Everybody's perspective of that situation or that ordeal or that time period was different, so you will get two different stories depending on who you talk to. Now, if there's more than two people involved, you could get 6 different stories, and that's unfortunate. That makes it hard for people who are outside of that situation or that time to know truly what happened. And what we had talked about this morning was how in a situation where there's 2 people, we would normally say that there's 2 sides to that story. But honestly, what I'd realized and what I'd heard somewhere else, and I don't remember if it was a podcast or if I read it in a book somewhere, that there's not 2 sides. There's 2 sides to that story, and then there's the truth. So there's 3 sides, essentially. Because if you imagine that, Polly stole Sam's notebook, Polly's mad because that was her notebook, and she's telling everybody that she, I got that backwards. Polly stole Sam's notebook. So Sam is mad because Polly stole his notebook, right? And he's telling everybody that Polly stole his notebook. But if you talk to Polly, she says that it was her notebook to begin with. So did she really steal the notebook? You know what I mean? And then there's what actually happened, right? And it could have been the fact that it wasn't either one of their notebook, that it was Grandma's notebook, and it just happened to look like Sam and Polly's notebook. And thinking about things like that and knowing and taking with a grain of salt that emotions get involved, personalities get involved, opinions get involved, it makes these situations so messy and so hard because we're an emotional species. We take things personally. We want people to be on our side. We want all of these things. And what happens is it creates an environment that is really, really hard to decipher, what actually happened or what is really going on. So I think that the thought process behind 2 sides and the truth can be so helpful when you are faced with these situations or these discussions where you have 2 parties or more parties that are going on about how they're right, the other person's wrong, or vice versa. And I hope that helps somebody. If you can hear all these vehicles out here, I'm sorry. I should be recording at my house, but again, the gray hair, we had a moment. I had to get something taken care of immediately. So here I am in the parking lot recording this. And I hope this makes sense because it was a light bulb moment the first time I ever heard it. Like, oh, snap. Like, it's not one person's right or the other person's right. Because what are the chances that one person told the story exactly, bit for bit, how it happened? Because again, emotions get involved. How they believe that it happened is exactly how they're saying it. You take it personally. You stand up for somebody. You push somebody down. However it works. I think that it's so important if you're ever in a situation where you have 2 different people, 2 different sides of the story, to just remember that they don't have to necessarily be lying to you. That could be exactly how they perceive that story. Exactly back to Polly and Sam. Polly thought that that was her notebook. Sam was convinced that Polly stole his notebook, but it was Grandma's notebook, and they all just looked the same. And I think that that's important in so many different conversations to realize that it doesn't mean that they're lying. It doesn't mean that somebody's wrong. It means that there's two sides of the story, and then there's the truth of what actually happened in that moment. And being aware that that's the case can be so helpful in these situations where emotions are heightened, people are upset, anything like that. So this was another really, really quick one. But honestly, I love podcasts that are like quick, easy. Here's your to the point message of blah, blah, blah. And I hope that this works for you guys too. But again, from the parking lot, if the sound quality is terrible on this one, I don't want everybody to just ditch and never listen again. And it was something that I was thinking about on my way here while I was panicking over the fact that at 30 years old, I have a gray hair and I'm upset about it. And honestly, it's just going to be a terrible day because of that. And we're going to turn it around because I'm going to go squish my nephew and have a great afternoon. But I hope that just the very quick sentiment registers with somebody out there. No matter what the situation, however many sides to the story there is, there's always however many sides, and then there's the truth. So, I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will talk to you next time.